Your ship is stopping at one of the only places in the world that the river actually flows backwards because of the Bay of Fundy. Here's what you need to know before your day in St. John, New Brunswick. Let's talk about it. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Ashley Neal, I'm a registered nurse and also a travel agent. And today we are going to do a full port review of St. John, New Brunswick. So in this video, we are going to talk about where the ship docks, what you see when you first get off the ship, and what are some must-do experiences when visiting St. John. St. John is one of those ports that a lot of cruisers aren't really sure what to do with, and I want to change that. St. John is a port that's on the Canada-New England itineraries, and it sits right on the Bay of Fundy. Now, if you've never heard of the Bay of Fundy, the tides are actually the highest in the world. We're talking 52 feet of tidal difference within the run of a day. And this is what actually creates the reversing falls, which we'll get into later in the video. So when your ship arrives, you're going to be docking at Pugsley Terminal, or sometimes called the Marco Polo Cruise Terminal, depending on your cruise line. Now, in saying that, the terminal is actually not far from uptown at all. It's about a 10 to 15 minute walk or a very short cab drive. And from there, you've got pretty easy access to everything I'm going to recommend today. St. John is one of those ports where you can absolutely do it independently. You don't need to book a ship excursion to have a great day. So I'm going to walk you through the stops I think are worth your time. So when you first step off the ship, one of the first things you're going to notice is the container village right at the terminal. And it's exactly what it sounds like. There's little markets set up and refurbished shipping containers, where I actually think is a really cool thing. And it's very fitting for the port city like St. John. So with this, you've got local vendors selling things like crafts, Nova Scotia and New Brunswick souvenirs, snacks, and that kind of thing. It's a really nice way to ease into your day. You can have a browse, grab a coffee, get your bearings before you head further into the city. And I wouldn't skip this even if you're in a rush, because it's right there and it gives you a really good first impression of St. John. Now, in saying that, don't spend your whole day here because there's a lot more to see, but this really is a great starting point. So as you're browsing the container village, I wanted to take this minute to actually talk about excursions. Now, if you do want to book an excursion, this is actually a really solid port to do whale watching, because you're right on the Bay of Fundy, and the Bay of Fundy is one of the best whale watching spots in the world. Humpbacks and finbacks. If that's on your bucket list, St. John is genuinely one of the best places to do it. So would look into that with your cruise line, but there's also some local operators that you can book independently as well. Just make sure you're giving yourself enough time to get back to the ship, because this is always something I stress with all of my clients. So this is Wasted Day. It's actually a local brewing company. You can sit in here and have a locally crafted brew. And shortly, I'm going to tell you my favorite place to grab a locally crafted brew when visiting St. John. If you can see that Irish flag, this is O'Leary's Pub. It's a staple in St. John. They have live music, some appetizers, and great beer. Now, as I told you earlier, I wanted to tell you my favorite place to sit down and have a locally crafted brew, and that is going to be this place, Pickeroon's Pub. You can sit inside, outside on the patio. It is pet friendly, so you will see some dogs that are in there, but it's a great place to sit down and enjoy the scenery in St. John Uptown. Be sure to stay tuned to the end of the video. I'll give you my top 2 things to do in St. John. Now, Cask and Kettle is a great place if you're looking to have some food and some appetizers and a locally crafted brew. St. John is big into the locally crafted beers. So this place has really good burgers, and the non-nachos are amazing. So this is King Street, which is the main drag. There's some local shops, coffee shops, restaurants if you want to sit down for lunch. It has a bit of a historic feel to it, and the architecture is really, really beautiful. The next thing we're going to talk about is the St. John's City Market. And this is one that is really easy to get to from the terminal. It's right uptown. This is actually the oldest continuously operating farmers market in Canada, which is pretty cool. So you're going to find local produce, seafood, baked goods, New Brunswick crafts, and it's a great spot to grab something to eat, grab a coffee, and pick up a souvenir that's actually local. I would plan to spend about 30 to 45 minutes here. It's indoors, which is great because St. John can be overcast. This is a port where I could definitely check the weather before you go and pack a layer. But the market's really nice, and it's a way to get a feel for the city without having to do a ton of walking. And lastly, I want to talk about the reversing falls. This is the one thing you really want to see, but you need to plan around because it depends on the tides if you see the rapids or if you just see still water. So you want to check the tide charts the day that your ship is going to be in port so you don't show up and just see completely still water. So there's a few viewing areas around the reversing falls so you can see, have a better view of the falls. So before I wrap this up, I want to give you a few things to remember about St. John. Be sure to check the weather. It is the Atlantic, it can get foggy and cool, so I recommend bringing a light sweater when you leave the ship. The second thing is currency. You are in Canada, so Canadian dollars is recommended, but you can also use any major credit card. Most shops and venues will use these credit cards. And thirdly, ship time versus port time. Always make sure that your watch is on ship time, so that way if you enter a different time zone when you get off the ship, you are still on ship time, so that way you are not going to get confused and miss your ship. As a St. Johner myself, things that I recommend you do when you come to St. John is walk up to Pickering's pub, grab a beer, sit in the patio, it's all locally crafted, and then wander over to Cask and Kettle to sit down, have another beer on their patio, and enjoy some appetizers. That's all I wanted to talk about today, guys. I hope this was informative, and I hope it has helped you become excited about visiting St. John. It is a great historical city, and it deserves a lot more than people give it credit for. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I am from St. John, so I can help you out. That's it for me. I'm Ashley Neal. I'll see you guys next time.